Hello everyone, I'm Gio. I hope everyone's having the best blessed day possible. So I got some new headphones. I got Apple AirPods, Generation 2 Pros. They're pretty crazy. Like when you put them in their ears, they like suction cup and you can't hear anything. So it's pretty cool. But I believe that they're gonna work better as far as the sound, because I actually watched some of the videos back and I found it a little bit hard to hear me at times. So I went and I bought something that I thought might be able to help out with that. So I hope you guys can hear me better as I make these videos. But things are going really, really well for me. I got baptized yesterday, woohoo. It felt amazing. Like, it feels amazing. Like, I feel like a new person. I feel like a renewed person. I have so much more life in me now. It's crazy that just doing that, how that made me feel, you know, and I know that I'm on the right path. You know what I mean? I know I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So it really, really feels amazing. And you know, this whole thing with God, you know, and believing in God and everything, like, it's crazy for anyone who doubts that there is a God. Like, how could there not be? You know, in the history of the world, they say that there was about 100 and I had just asked Alexa this, and she said that in the year 2020, they estimate about 110 billion people have ever lived in this world. So out of the 110 billion people that have ever lived in this world, you are the only you that there's ever been. You're the only person that's ever had your DNA. You're the only person that's ever talked like you, that's ever had your thoughts, that's just ever been you. You know what I mean? Like, no one else has ever done that. Had your same fingerprint, like there's so many things unique about each individual person out of 110 billion people, that every single person is unique by themselves. Like, how could that possibly be in the world? And I asked her also, what are the chances of you being born? And she said the chances of you being born is 1 in 400 trillion is the chances of someone being born. So, you know, with those odds, 1 in 400 trillion, you know what I mean? Here you are, here you stand. So what are you going to do with it? You know what I mean? What are you going to do with your life? So for me now, you know, I turned my life over to God, and I'm trying to live a godly life in every way possible. And I want to live a life that's pleasing to God in every way. And I pray every day that I can show God glory, you know, and show him appreciation for my creation, you know, 1 in 400 trillion, and the creation of this beautiful world that we live in, you know, and that I want to experience the world, and I want to get to see the world and experience everything that it has to offer. So for me, you know, I know I'm on the right path. You know, I just got baptized. One other thing that happened was I got evicted from my apartment because they sold the building that I was living in. I spoke about this in my last video, but they sold the building that I'm living in. And at first the landlord said I was going to get to stay, but then she called me shortly after and she said, actually, everyone's got to leave. So, but she helped me to go look at a new apartment. It was in Herkimer. And I'm not really trying to live in Herkimer because I don't really want to be around, you know, some of the stuff and everything. So I explained that to her, and she told me of another apartment available, and it's actually right here in Mohawk, and it's like a million times better than the place that I live in now. So I've showed you a video of my apartment now, but wait till you see this new apartment. It's so nice. So I'm moving in there April 1st. And when that happened, when I heard that, you know, that we were going to have to move out, you know, I said that this is going to end up as being a positive. You know, I'm going to end up better off for it, and that's exactly what it appears like is happening. You know, that I'm going to be better off for it because I get a much better place, and I probably wouldn't have made that step to make that change, you know, had I not done that. So that feels really, really good. But in this video, I want to talk about, you know, my testimony, you know, what happened to get me here and everything. So it was a year ago, you know, on this date, I was in rehab, you know, a year ago, but it goes back a little bit further than that. It goes back to New Year's of that year, you know, New Year's 2023, the beginning of 2023. A friend of mine, I'm going to call him out by name because he shared a video of mine recently, Brandon McNair. He started talking to me on that night, you know, it was New Year's night. And he started telling me the story about, you know, him being in jail and how he got out and everything. And I'm not going to get into all that, but he told me, you know, how God played such an integral part in that, you know, in him getting out and believing in God. And he told me that I need to start praying and I should be reading the Bible. And for this person to say that to me, you know, I found that, like, amazing that this, you know, this person who is battling addiction, you know, that has all of his vices, that's dealing with all these different things and stuff, took the time out to tell me I should be praying and that I should be reading the Bible. You know, just the fact that he believed like that and he felt like that and everything. Now, I'd been feeling like my life was leading towards something at that time. So to hear that and everything, it really kind of reinforced that in my mind and just placed that seed there and everything. So I appreciate him so much for that. And that really was a big part in me getting to where I am at now. So while I was in rehab, I went to rehab March 1st. I checked myself in 2023. While I was there, about a week in, a week and a half in, I started praying. And I started saying that I trust in God, that whatever's meant to be will be, and that everything's going to happen as it's supposed to happen. And I believe God, wherever I'm supposed to go, have me go there, and I will do whatever I'm supposed to do. And I trust in you completely. So while I was there, so when I went to rehab, I had about 6 warrants altogether. I had open cases in 6 different courts, maybe 7 different courts altogether. And my daughter's wedding was supposed to be coming up at the end of this year. I really wanted to make her wedding. I didn't know what was going to happen as far as how much jail time I was going to have to serve or what was going to happen with that. So I was planning on just going to rehab, and then from that rehab going to another rehab, and just kind of trying to duck these charges for as long as I could and just try to make her wedding and everything. But I didn't really want to do that. I didn't really have a plan. I didn't know what to do exactly. So while I'm in rehab, I start praying, and I trust in God, and I'm set up. I'm supposed to go to this other place. It's a long-term rehab, a 3 to 6 month program, I believe, or a 6-month program from the 30-day program that I was in. But as it was getting towards my end date, I was starting to feel better. I was starting to feel really good, and I'm starting to feel strong, and I really want to be recovered, and I really want to do these things. But as it's getting towards my end date, everyone's getting called in and getting placed, in their next spot that they're supposed to be going. But I'm not getting called in. And I'm starting to get a lot of anxiety about it. So I'm asking my counselor about it and everything. And my counselor told me, he said, well, she's really, really busy, And they said, well, he'd talk to her. And then the next day, he kind of told me the same thing. Well, she's really busy, blah, blah, blah. And but he was really, really rude to me about it. And I didn't understand that. And then I just said, well, if she's so busy, then tell her not to even worry about it. I'll just go home. That's what I said. And then after that meeting, he came outside afterwards, and he said that your bed date is April 13th. Do you want the bed or not? And I was supposed to be getting out on April 5th, but now they're saying April 13th, which I probably would have taken this bed, because I really wanted to make sure that I got enough care so I could be recovered. And I wanted to not come back to this area. That was my whole plan when I left, was that I wasn't going to come back to this area at all. And that was my goal when I went to rehab, and that was what the plan was. But now he says that to me. And when he said that to me, do you want the bed or not? And he says that in that moment, because I need to tell her, right at that moment. So now you're being rude to me, and now you're telling me that this date, is further than my release date, which would have been fine with me. But you're being rude to me while you're taking it. So I said, just give it away. I don't want it. So I said that. So in that one moment of saying that, I changed the whole course of what I'm going to do. What my whole plan was. So now instead of going to a 6-month rehab from the 30-day rehab I'm in, now all of a sudden I'm coming back to Herkimer, where I know that cops are looking for me, where I know I have all these charges stemming, where I know I have no place to go, because I left my apartment, I left everything behind that I had, and I knew I couldn't return there if I wanted to have any success at all. So I had no plan, but I say I'm going back to Herkimer. So, the minute I said that, boom, it was set in stone, so now I got to go back. So now when I come back to the area, I tried to set some things up, which didn't work out. So I came back and I found myself, basically on the street, nowhere to go. I don't know what to do now. So so I ended up calling up friends and everything, and then I ended up using, So then it's April 7th, so I got out April 5th, now it's April 7th, I used and everything, and then I prayed to God, and I asked God, I just said, Lord, I said, I don't want to be doing this. I said, I see this going backwards now. I see myself just going right back to what I was doing before, and that's not what I want to do. So I asked him, help me get out of this situation, because I don't know what to do. I don't know how to get out of it. I don't know what to do. And now when I did that, probably 2 hours later, maybe I'm in a car, and we're going to go get substances, and the car gets pulled over that we're in. So in doing this, well, at first, where we pulled up, I seen a cop, parked where we were pulling up to meet someone. I seen a cop parked, but no one believed me that cop was there. So I got out of the car, and that car drove off that I was in. But I took everything from that car and put it on me, because they were going to go in case they got pulled over by the cops. So now I'm in another car. I get out and I go in with someone else, and we're going to follow them. And then if they don't get pulled over, I'm going to get out and I'm going to go in the car with them. But I'm going to take the stuff with me so that we're safe. So in doing that, that car pulls out, the cop goes and pulls that car over. So now we're behind it and we see them get pulled over, so we turn around to go back, and now there's another cop coming straight at us. So he flips on his lights and now he pulls us over. So now not only am I getting pulled over, you know, and I know I got all these warrants and everything, now I have all the substances and everything right on me. So I asked the kid that was driving the car, I said, you know, what do I do? He said, I don't know. You know, so like in this situation before, now I would get out and I would run, I would give a fake name, I would do anything I possibly could to get out of this. But when that cop came up, you know, I said my name and I said, I got warrants. So he's like, all right, get out of the car. So when I got out of the car, I took the bag with the stuff in it, you know, with me. And there was 4 little bags of substance that we had, and I had them in my inside jacket pocket. So now the cop comes out, blah, blah, blah. He pulls me over, you know, and then he handcuffs me and he puts me in the back of the car. They search me, but they don't see this inside pocket. So now I'm in the back seat of the car and I got these 4 bags in my pocket and I don't know what to do. You know, I'm handcuffed behind my back. So now in this instance before, I've been put in a cop car with drugs before, prior to being searched like thoroughly, and I was able to take the drugs out and I shoved a bunch of them in the seat. I've done that. And then, you know, I took drugs and I put them in my mouth. You know what I mean? It's a little bit hard to do with your handcuffs behind your back, you know, but I put them on my leg and I bend down and get them in my mouth. So in this instance, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do, you know, but I'm like, I might as well, you know, eat the drugs, whatever. You know what I mean? So I put them on my leg and I put all 4 bags in my mouth. I get them all in my mouth. I got them in my mouth. I'm like, this isn't what I want to do. You know what I mean? I don't want to be high like this. This is exactly what I don't want to do. You know, I'm just going to be, this is going to be bad. You know what I mean? If I do that, number one, I could OD because I haven't been doing drugs like that. It wasn't really like a drug that you're necessarily going to OD on, but I'm going to be really, really, really messed up from this. So it's not going to be a good thing or a good look for me, you know? So I take them out of my mouth and I take them and I shove them in the seat. And then I'm sitting there and I'm like, that's not what I want to do either. You know, I don't want to be dishonest. You know what I mean? I am stating that I want to be this new life, this new person now. I want to be this godly person, you know, and I want to lead this new life now. So my next thing is I'm going to take the drugs back out of the seat and I'm going to just tell the cop I have the drugs on me and I'm going to just deal with it because that's the honest thing to do. So I'm trying to find the drugs in the seat and I can only find 2 of the 4 bags. But I take them out, and then as soon as the cop looks at me, I wave him over, and I tell him, you know, I'm like, I point, you know, I mean, I said these were in my pocket, you know. And then I tell them there's 2 more bags in the seat, which they could never find those 2 bags, you know, while they looked for them. So so they thought that I put them, you know, up my thing, but that wasn't the case. You know, I'm like, why would I even tell you about them if I was to do that? You know, it makes no sense. I said, I'm trying to be honest here. You know, I'm trying to lead a new life. Boom, boom, boom. So then, you know, so now they bring me down to the station and everything, and the cops are being like super, super rude to me while they're talking to me, you know, and I'm telling them, like, what I said to them is I said, I need to go to jail. I said, there's nothing for me out here. I said, everything that I own is in the duffel bag that I had in that other car with me. That's everything I own. I have a couple folders and I have a couple outfits of clothes. It's all I own in this entire world, and I need to go to jail because there's nothing out here for me. And the cops like, we really want to go to jail? I said, yes, that's what I want to do. So now the cops are still like poking at me, you know what I mean? They're like putting me down and they're like trying to make fun of me and stuff and like just being really, really super rude to me. And I'm just sitting there, I'm taking it, you know, and then I'm just like, you know, that's not, like, why are they doing this? You know, like what is the point in them being like this? I'm telling them that I need to go to jail because I have nothing but this duffel bag full of clothes and there's nothing for me out here in this world, you know, and I'm being very, 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 like, kind about it, nice about it. I just gave them the drugs that I had on me and I didn't have to do that. So I stood up, you know what I mean? I was like, I don't know if who you're trying to, I don't know what the point is and what you're trying to do, why you're talking to me like that. I said, but you're only hurting yourself. I said, you're not making me feel bad because I already feel bad enough, you know, so you can't hurt me at all. I said, but you know, what is the point in doing that? Because all you're doing is you're not living your life right. You know what I mean? It's not a nice thing to do when someone's being like this. I said that I said, if I was going from a God, you know, at the pearly gates, if I was there, I said, I bet you God would welcome me with open arms. And he would say, oh my God, I'm so glad to see you. You know, I'm glad that you're here. And I said, because of the way I live my life and because of the way I treat other people. I said that. And I said, I bet that you can't say the same thing. And then the cops were like, you know what, you're right. They said, you know, and they said, we're sorry, you know, and they really started being really, really nice to me after that. So, and like, we're really super nice. Like, the one cop let me smoke a cigarette, and he's like, you know what, you're right, you know, and they really did change up their tune and everything. So now when that happens, so now the cop called and he said, to whoever that I wanted to go to jail, because in this instance, a lot of times now with the bail reform and stuff, they don't necessarily put people in jail like that. So, so now I'm getting brought to Herkimer Police Station, and I'm in the police station and I'm waiting to go in front of the judge. So now while I'm waiting there, I'm sitting there, and the craziest thing happened, and all of a sudden, like, I'm just sitting there, and then I heard the voice of God. And the voice of God told me that basically that he was proud of me, and that I didn't need to worry about anything. Everything would be provided for me, and just to keep doing what I was doing. And I'm sitting there, I have my eyes closed, and I'm just seeing all these colors and all this is like amazing. I'm saying, oh my God, it's so beautiful. Then I'm like, are you really talking to me right now? Is this really happening? I said, and then I said, are you gonna talk to me all the time? And these are the questions like I asked. Now, I didn't take those drugs. I hadn't used drugs since way, way, way earlier. And the drugs that I used weren't anything that would influence me hearing any voices or influence anything like that. So hand to God, it was the voice of God that I heard. And I promise you that's what it was. So now I have God speaking to me and everything. And then he told me all that. And then the last thing that he says to me is he told me that I should go to the mental institution. That's what he said. So now in my mind, I said, really? Go to the mental? And I said, okay. So he said to do that. So now, how do you go to the mental institution? So my only thing is I got to act crazy. I got to act like that I can't be controlled by cops or whatever. And I got to act like that I'm crazy. So I need to go to a mental institution, to have them put me there. So that was my thought. Not really sure about how to do this or anything. But now the cops, I get put in jail, sent to jail and told another court date, but I'm reprimanded to jail. Basically they set like a nominal bail on me, so it's like a penny bail or whatever, and a dollar bail, they set on me because I said I wanted to go to jail. So now I'm on my way to jail, and then when I get to jail, it's a very good friend of mine who I know really, really well is a sergeant there at the jail. So now I don't want to act like crazy in front of him. I started doing it with the cops there. I started saying that my life is over. I took my hat, my glasses off, I said, I don't even need them anymore. My life's over. It doesn't matter. So this is how I start acting all of a sudden. And now I get to jail, and it's my friend there, so I don't want to act crazy or anything like that. So, but I still was told to do this by God, so what am I going to do? So my only option was, I thought, is I'm going to tell him that I'm going to take my life, and that I don't want to do it with you here because I don't want to make work for you, is what I'm saying. I have no thoughts at all of hurting myself, anything like that. I would never, ever do that ever in my life. But so that was my thought, though, is I'm going to tell him I'm going to take my life. I have to do this, and that you need to send me to a mental institution. So because I'm going to tell them, and then they're going to let me do it because they know that I have to do this. That this is what I'm trying to come up with and trying to say to him. So, he's just like, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. These charges aren't even that bad. What are you talking about? I said, no, it's all over, and I'm trying to act like I'm so devastated. And he came up, he's like, well, I can't do anything for you right at this moment. It's 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. He said, but, in a few hours, we can get you somewhere, is what he says to me. So now I get put in a blue suit, which instead of getting like a blanket, instead of getting clothes, you just get one piece of clothing, and you get put in a cell with a mattress and nothing else, and now you have a guard watching you. So now I'm in this cell, and it's probably about 7:30 in the morning. It's really, really cold, and I'm sitting there, and I kind of like got the thing like scrunched up over my face and stuff, and the guard yelling at me to take it off my face. He's like, can't cover your face. So I'm just saying, I'm so cold, and I'm like, Lord, why would you do this to me? Why? This is so uncomfortable. I'm saying that. And then almost instantly when that happens, they call me down, and they change me out. They give me regular clothes and stuff, and, and they talk with me and everything. So at that point, I gave up the whole trying to go mental institution, because I realized at that point, for one, that it's absolutely impossible to get a jail to send you a mental institution. You really, really got to actually try to hurt yourself, which I was not trying to do. I know that wasn't the point in anything. But now what happened was, for the next 3 days, I'm on 24-hour watch. So I have a guard that's just posted at my door watching me the entire time. So now basically, instead of me being in a room by myself wondering, did this really happen? Did God really just talk to me? Wondering that, now I get to have a guard with me, for 3 days straight that's sitting there that I can talk to, and I can see if I can maybe give them advice, if I really have this new way about me, that I can do that. So, and what I learned is that I absolutely did, you know, and talking with the guards and stuff. The one guard said, "Oh my God, I'm so glad I got placed here." You know, I was upset at first that I got put here, but he's like, "No, I'm so glad I got put here," you know, and talking to me because I was able to give him good advice and stuff. So I believe that that was the reason for it, you know, so I wasn't alone with my thoughts, like wondering, you know, now I get people to talk to the whole time, and I get to see if I am this new higher level being of person. So that was pretty crazy situation for me and everything. But in doing that now, like truly, like everything truly has been provided for me. Now when I'm in jail, you know, I put in all the work. You know, I read the entire Bible. Not cover to cover, but I read it, you know, as the plan. It was read the Bible in a year plan as it was stated for me to do, you know. So I did that the entire time. I did Bible study with an inmate there who was very knowledgeable, you know, and I started believing and I started living, you know, a certain way while I was there, you know. And like the one thing I noticed is like when people were trying to like put people down, or people are trying to hurt people, you know, because people try to be tough guys in jail and stuff, you know, I was trying to build the people up that they were trying to hurt, and like just a bunch of different things like that. And I was trying to give like godly advice to everybody, you know, and just trying to be like this different person, and trying to start read books and stuff. And like I asked for certain books, you know, books about you know, purpose of life and things of that sort. And the couple books that I read while I was there was Rick Warren's Purpose Driven Life, which was a 40-day transformation for your life. It gives you 40 days of what you should do. You know, read it one day for 40 days straight. And I started doing a little bit of a review of that book at one point in time in one of my very first videos. But that book was amazing. You know, it's amazing for me, and it just basically tells you, you know, how to live your life, to have a purpose-driven life. Exactly the title, you know. And like a few chapters of that book are about being a member of a church, being part of a community, doing all that, and how important that is. You know, so that's exactly what I've done now. You know, as I am a huge member of my church now, I'm part of the community. Like I walk in there, I try to talk to as many people as I can. I try to be a part of everything, you know, and it feels amazing. And then when I was in jail now, when I went to court, they offered me 6 months. Herkimer County says 6 months for all the charges, for all the courts, you know, for all the different courts that I had charges out of, which is an amazing offer. Like it really was a really good offer. I had a lot of charges. So, but I asked them. I said, you know, I appreciate the offer. That's a great offer. I said, but is there anything I could do that has treatment involved? Because I really want to be better, and I want to do better. And so I said, is there anything that has that's a worse offer for me to take, but has treatment involved, that I can get help, you know, because I really want to be at my daughter's wedding first and foremost, and I just want to lead a different life going forward, you know. And then the DA, he said at that point, he said, well, what about treatment court? So now everything I've heard about treatment court is how hard that it is, you know, how just all like a lot of tough things about it and everything. So I said that would be amazing, you know. So basically, and then I ended up serving 83 days in jail. So out of a 6-month sentence, it would be 119 days. I ended up serving 83. So 83 of 119, you know, I would have had 29, 36 more days to go to serve out the entire sentence. But instead, I got out where I'm going to have a year of treatment court and 3 years probation. You know, that's how I got out, instead of doing those little 36 days in jail, which at that point in jail, I was very comfortable. I was a trustee, you know, it would have been very so easy to serve out that time. And I really wasn't getting out to anything. You know, I didn't have like a bunch of plans like set up. Like I had thoughts of, okay, I'm going to go get a job. I had thoughts of, you know, what I might do, but I really had nothing definitive set up. You know what I mean? Like my girlfriend that I was with, she said she was going to try to get a place, but she wasn't really succeeding at doing all that. So really, I got out to nothing. And upon getting out, when I got out, because I had to go to all the different courts, and when I went to the one court, they settled my charges. So now in doing that, I still was in on the treatment court. You know, I was supposed to not get out until I got out on treatment court. But because I settled the charges in the court, this was the court that I had that nominal bail on. So all I had to do was pay that little bail money. It ended up being $10, and then I was able to bail out of jail and not actually be on treatment court. So when I got out, I for 2 months I got out, and I wasn't on any paper at all or anything. But for those 2 months, you know, I stayed strong. I didn't get a job. I tried to get a job. I didn't get a job for those 2 months. But I stayed strong. I stayed clean. I stayed sober, and I did the best that I could, you know, with what I had to work with. But but everything ended up coming together. I ended up getting a job, the apartment, everything like that. So I held strong though, and I did that, and then I got to church, and now I got baptized, and now, I'm not even a year sober yet. April 7th, I'm a year sober, and I feel the strongest I've ever felt. I feel better than I've ever felt, and I feel like I have more to offer this world than I've ever had to offer. And I feel like that the sky's the limit, as far as what I can do and what I can accomplish. And just with the apartment, I knew that something better would be there, and I knew that it was happening for a reason. And I truly believed with, every ounce of my being that I would end up better off for it. And that's exactly what happened. So believing these things and just believing in yourself and doing all the things that you can do to get there. But so that's kind of my story, and everything's just, it's really like so, I feel absolutely amazing, and I can't believe that this is my life now, and I'm so excited that this is who I am now, and I'm so excited that what I can do with this, like I make these videos. This will be my 42nd video if you include the 3 or 4 shorts that I have on there. So, but I'm making these videos because I really want to use the experience that I had to help other people, to show other people that they too can do this. You just have to put in a little bit of work, but you too can do this, because the way that I feel now, like you would want to feel this way. Like it's not fun doing drugs. It's not fun out chasing things all the time. It's not fun having to commit crimes to survive. It's not fun to do all that, to be looking over your shoulder every minute, to be worried about every single thing that you do. You know what I mean? If you do the right thing and you work hard and you do these things, you too can feel good. Like I can go down the street, I can see cops on the street, say hello and feel good about it. You know what I mean? I went today to go get power in my name, and it felt good. You know what I mean? Like I knew I was gonna get it, and I knew, like, I don't know, just in talking to people and stuff, like I feel so different now, and I feel like I really have something to offer. I really feel like that I want to show people, that by trusting in God and by trusting that that He will provide for you, and by doing all that and everything, and by showing people what happened with me, by standing up to those cops, by saying what I said to them and everything, and by doing the right thing, you know what I mean? At the right moment, I did the right thing. And, when it would have been so easy for me not to do the right thing, I had the drugs in my mouth. I could have swallowed them. I had the drugs in the seat. I could have had them go, but I took them out, you know what I mean? And I did the right thing when it wasn't really smart, or it wasn't really necessary for me to do the right thing. I did. And I believe that was the reason why God spoke to me when He did, because I did something that was above and beyond, you know what I mean? I did something that was out of character. I did something that showed my desire for a new life, showed my desire to change, showed my desire for all that. So I think that at that moment I did something that was, that was different, that was higher level, you know what I mean? And that made God recognize that. So He spoke to me, and He offered me the words of advice that He offered me, and told me that everything would be provided for me. So now, how, after hearing God's voice, how after doing that, how am I not going to survive? You know what I mean? How am I not going to prosper? How am I not going to, move mountains, so to speak? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I really can do anything, by Him speaking to me at that moment that He did, now it completely changed everything for me. I read the entire Bible. Like, I had to do these things, I have to. When I was in jail, I was so focused on just doing something positive every moment. I didn't watch any TV. All I did was work out, made sure that I kept my body good, and I worked, I got the job as trustee, and I just tried to treat everybody good. I made a to-do list every day. I tried to be so productive when I was there. And, and I ended up doing everything, and I just manifested everything to happen the way that it did. And it feels amazing. It really, really does. And, but just hearing His voice and hearing that, like, I can't even explain to you what the voice sounded like. I can't even explain anything. Like, I would love to see the camera tape, of them, because I know that they record all that and stuff. I would love to see me and, like, how I acted. And, like, when I was sitting there, like, are you really talking to me right now? Is this really happening? And, like, saying, like, because I said these things out loud, are you going to talk to me all the time? Like, I said these things, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't my imagination. Like, so that really, really happened. And now I'm living proof that, of what can happen in your life and the change that you can have, And like I'm part of this prayer group every week, you know, where I sit with all the higher people of the church, you know, these people that have been believers for a long time, that have been saved for a long time, that have been born again for a long time, and they're there with me, offering me advice, you know. And then I have my mentor, the lady who used to do the jail ministry. She did it from 1984 till 2018, gave up time of her life every single week to go in there and try to spread the word of God. Like, if that isn't someone that I want in my life, then, you know, who would I want in my life? Like, it's amazing. And she says that she's blessed to have me in her life. Like, how incredible is that? Like, that feels so amazing, you know? And just the feeling that I get from going to church and talking with the pastor, and just how welcomed I am and how happy that these people are to see me and stuff, like, it feels incredible, you know what I mean? So for me, instead of out running the streets, out stealing from stores, out trying to get drugs, sell this, do this, you know, to get this, and trying to just be like messed up all the time, walking around the streets messed up, you know, where back in the day when I walk around with needle marks all on my arms, like, it's crazy, you know, that's who I was. And now, like, not talking to my family, not talking to my children, not doing anything I'm proud of at all, you know. I don't want any of them in my life because I'm so ashamed of my life, you know. And now to have that, to go from that to this, to where I pray for all these people, where I pray for everyone, you know, and to where I'm making these videos where I want to encourage people, you know, to do this too, to stop. I always try to encourage people not to use drugs. And when I ever went to rehab, anything like that, I wouldn't give them anything when they got out. I would not. I tried to get them not to do it, you know, and I really tried to encourage everyone all the time. I always did that, and I believe that that's another reason why God spoke to me when he did, because of the heart that I do have, you know, and the care that I always did really had for people. You know, I tried to fight for everyone and tried to, you know what, just the way that I lived that life and maneuvered, you know, and managed living that life, you know, how I went about it and stuff. I don't know. It was different, I think, than how most people do. But I really do feel like that I want to show everyone that they too can do this, and how amazing that this does feel, and I can be a living truth, you know, that people can change and that people can prosper, you know, when they get out. And it's by, you know, trusting in God, and it's by going to church, and it's by doing these things that I can have the strength now, and I can feel the way that I feel now, you know, where I wake up every day excited, you know, excited to go to work, excited to wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning so I can make this prayer group and go talk with all these ladies, you know, that for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then from there go to a Bible study with the lady for another hour and a half, and then have lunch with her. And like, these things excite me, you know. And then to know, like, okay, I got evicted from my apartment, to know I'm going to get a better place. It's going to be better off for it. And then immediately the next day, boom, better, way better, you know, better off for it. Really nice place. So, and that just happened like that, you know, because of how I'm living now, because of what I'm doing now. And I feel like I can accomplish anything. I feel like the sky's the limit. I feel like I'm going to do so much with my life. And it's really exciting. But I really hope that other people can do this too. I really hope that my channel can inspire people to know that they too can change. You know, you just got to take a step. And I'm going to try to watch as much information as I can, to get as much knowledge as I can to share with you, and to show people that they can do it too. But I love everyone. I wish everyone the best, you know, and I hope everyone can get to feel the way that I feel now, because it really does feel amazing. And I really feel like I am transformed. I feel like there's no chance I'm going to use substances again. I feel like that there's no chance I'll ever turn back to that life, because I know what this feels like now, you know. And if you can just get there to where you know what this feels like, and give yourself a chance to feel this feeling that I feel now, you won't regret it. I promise you that, because I definitely don't regret it, and I don't miss that at all. And I don't miss any part of living that life, you know. I really don't. And I'm just excited to make accomplishments in my life, you know, make my family proud, make my kids proud, make my church proud, you know, to do all these things. It really does feel amazing. So remember that as nice as it is to be important, it's infinitely more important to be nice. And just know I love everyone. I wish everyone the best, and I love you. Goodbye.